Patty, Brandon, and Trevor here with Lovin Star Valley, and we are local realtors and your guides to everything fun, amazing, and unique in Star Valley. And today we have a special guest, John Starcevich,
yes,
correct?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And he is an attorney with Edwards Law Office.
Yes.
And a little bit about John, and you can correct me, but so you started out in law enforcement.
Yes, I did. And so I was a deputy sheriff for 21 years,
Okay.
Both in Indiana, here in Wyoming. And then I retired from the sheriff's office here in Lincoln County and went to law school in 2014 at UW in Laramie. And then after I graduated, I came back here and have been practicing law here since January of 2017 after I took the bar, and currently with Edwards Law Office in Etna.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to
Sure.
talk to us a little bit. So we wanted to talk a little bit about estate planning. Can you explain, briefly what is estate planning?
So basically, estate planning is just a process or procedure that folks can put in place ahead of time, and normally through the services of an attorney, to pass on their estate, their property, all the assets and land and other property that they've accumulated and earned over the course of a lifetime, and how you pass that on to others, your beneficiaries, normally your family and your kids. And the estate planning process can be very simple as something as a will, right? Doing a will that's valid here in Wyoming. Or it could be as simple as doing a trust and establishing a trust for you and your wife or your family, or if you're single, having a single trust and passing property that way. And then along with a trust or a will, most estate planning attorneys will also put together other documents for you that are very beneficial or helpful for you now and down the road, such as powers of attorney for finances, or powers of attorney for healthcare, things like that. That just allows others to help you when you need help the most, right?
Right.
And so that's kind of what an estate plan is, in a nutshell, if you will.
Okay. Yeah.
Very good. Well, thanks for coming and talking to us, John. And, when we talk about estate planning, you always hear these words, trust and deed and wills and things. So what is a trust?
So basically, I like to call it legal fiction, but I think the best way to say it is that Ford Motor Company has a corporation, and the corporation owns and controls the assets through the board of directors and the employees and so forth. And what one does when they set up a trust is it's normally a joint trust between husband and wife, or a family trust, and usually they're revocable, meaning we can change them or modify them. But we basically establish it, and we grant into the trust everything that we've accumulated, all of our property, our home and our land and our vehicles. And by doing that, we become the trustees, and we control it. We can still, nothing really changes as far as how I control my property, how I sell my property. I control it as trustee. But then when I'm no longer here, when I'm gone, the person I designated to be the trustee, then they're going to distribute my property how I want it. And sometimes that's very simple. Hey, it's all going to go to my children equally. Other times folks may put some provisions in there where they want to provide for education or schooling for grandchildren perhaps. And so that trust is really a vehicle that's established here in Wyoming through state statute that our legislature created, that allows you to control your property while you're alive, right? But then also while you're gone, to distribute it how you wanted, and really provides that vehicle, and it certainly has a lot of advantages over either not having a trust, or advantages, say, over a will.
Thanks. Well, that's some really good information. So most people, real estate, their home and property is one of their biggest assets. What is some of the best ways that we can protect those assets?
Well, sure. And I think that one of the most important things is to have adequate insurance coverage for your home and your land. And I know that a lot of folks, when they buy a home and a land, they may have a mortgage, and that bank, that lender, will require, say, hey, as part of us providing this money for your home and land, you have to have insurance, and there's minimum amounts. And so I think the number one thing that you can do is have adequate insurance. But even as important, or equally as important, is to if you want to provide the most protection, if you will, is to have joint ownership. And so if it's a husband and wife that buy a land and home, if you jointly own it, it provides you protection from creditors, okay? Certain protection, and nothing is absolute in the law. There's nothing that's absolute or guaranteed certainty, but joint ownership certainly for land and homes, real property, provides you the most protection for that asset that you've worked hard for.
Thank you.
And just to kind of finish that up with, if your home and your land is named into a trust, then it also provides some protection down the road for your beneficiaries. A trust does, and certainly that's some of the advantages that a trust has, protecting not only you while you're alive, but then your beneficiaries, and certainly your home and your land. It provides a great deal of protection from creditors for your beneficiaries' benefit.
Okay.
So it's kind of a good idea as a homeowner and landowner is to kind of set up some a trust, is kind of what I got the gist of things when we were talking. Is it's a good idea to maybe set something up, or it's like you said, sometimes a will may be better, but some type of protection is good.
Right, and it really depends on what you've accumulated, right, and the value of all these things that you have. But certainly, if you have a home and land, I think you're benefited greatly by having a trust in place.
Yeah.
And it's not required or necessary for everybody. Sometimes a will is certainly adequate. But in my opinion, having a will and a trust is certainly better than having nothing at all.
Yeah.
And there's things that judges and courts will decide in a probate process that becomes public record. And, sometimes families want to have a little more privacy.
Right.
And a trust certainly provides for that. Privacy and not having to be probated in a court.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, some folks don't necessarily need that.
Yeah.
But I think that, and I think most would agree, that if you have a home and land, you would benefit greatly from a trust, certainly, as opposed to having nothing.
Right.
And then for other folks, a will certainly is very beneficial to help your beneficiaries when you're no longer here. Yeah.
Well, you have been a wealth of knowledge. We really appreciate this. You've explained so much to us, and it's been good. So we appreciate your time.
No,
and
it was good being here with you folks, and we're fortunate in this community.
Yeah.
To have what we have here, and so I feel very blessed, and I was glad to be here and share this information with you, and hopefully some folks can benefit from it. So.
Yes, yeah, that's what we hope too.
Yeah.
And we too, we feel very blessed to live here, because remember to love where you live. Love in Star Valley.